That's what they say. You know what I'm saying?
Get that over with.
Juwan next to Darn.
Let's have my STEEZ know what's going on. Yes, Lord.
Goddamn, bring y'all post-game review. ANZAC Day. Essendon Bombers versus Collingwood Magpies for the 29th annual ANZAC Day game.
At the G.
Yeah. So, what you think coming into this one?
So, I've been pretty sour on Collingwood. I think deservedly so. The reigning premiers, they haven't been living up to expectations. That being said, they showed a la Carlton last week against Port. They did a tale of two halves, not literally, but in a way where they just turned the game around where they were down in a big deficit and brought it back in the old Collingwood style and gave us glimpses of what they used to be, just in a different manner. But so it's been interesting. It was kind of just iffy with Collingwood, seeing where they were at. Essendon is just play strong or play trash. There's no in between with them. And I think they're still just having an identity crisis, trying to figure out who exactly they are. So that's what I was really thinking with them. They couldn't confidently tip either team, though.
Yeah. So for me coming into this game, I did tip the Pies, or at least was going to, but I was like a minute late. But anyways, regardless of that, I did tip the Pies. And this was a hard game to tip. I do think the Pies are a better team. They haven't been showing it much this year. I do think Essendon has been looking like a hungrier team, a team that's been wanting to win more. But the Pies have had some games where they came back from some deficits in very much Collingwood manner these past few years. And I just would have gave it to them to just edge the game out a little bit because just who their personnel is, if you don't know. But yeah, getting into the game, first quarter, the Bombers came out hot as fuck. Probably one of the best starts of a footy game I've seen, maybe ever. I think in the first 6 minutes they scored 6 goals. Looking like they were just gonna run away with the whole game. I don't know.
It might have been 4 minutes, 6 goals. Okay.
It was something crazy. It was definitely 4 minutes, 4 goals for sure. I don't know if it was 4 or 6, but I know that just the first little bit they was back to back to back to back without the Pies really having any type of answer. Then the Pies got a hold of it, and Essendon kind of went quiet for a long time, not really doing shit. And that was kind of the story of the first half. It was just Bombers came out hot as shit first half of the first quarter, and then the Pies just fought their way back into the game. And then come halftime, it was a game, if you don't mind.
Yeah, like you were saying, Essendon came out with the strong effort, the Essendon edge, if you don't mind. And they looked like they wanted to put a statement out just to pretty much just let everybody else know who they're messing with, if you don't mind. And they did just that. Collingwood, they were struggling to get into the contest in the beginning of it, but I think just the identity of Collingwood pretty much this whole game was really just the pressure, though. Once Collingwood did get into the game, I think they were doing very well with pressure and kind of rattling Essendon as far as not being able to let them get the clean balls out. And when Collingwood started making a run, I did think it was just like, I got the feeling, I was like, bro, how are they just get some bullshit, some lucky bullshit. And I'm not saying this for umpires or anything, but just a handball that shouldn't have got through, and they just make it work, bro, every time. But it happens every time, so it was like, bro, what the fuck's going on? And you just get used to seeing Collingwood just wheel the ball forward through handballs, and they started getting real efficient. Essendon started real efficient, and then Collingwood actually was having decent scoring shots too. They weren't doing it as easy, but they weren't actually accurate on the scoreboard though. But Milechek was real good in this game, bringing them back into it. He was a real good featured forward over there. I think Essendon did pretty good. As far when Essendon was struggling, they were still keeping themselves in the game through clearance.
Yeah.
And they pretty much just were taking territory and were able to do something with it, even if they weren't all the way accurate throughout the night.
Okay, yeah. And just looking at the game, it did seem like after the Bombers went on they run at the beginning, I look at the game and definitely be like, yeah, the Pies should be winning this game. They were looking like a better team for the most part, but then I come over and look at the numbers for the Bombers and just the disposal numbers. You can just see that Essendon was kind of controlling the ball more. But Andrew McGraw had 31 disposals. Zach Merritt had 31 disposals. Nick Martin had 30 disposals. So just with those numbers, you just see Essendon's midfield really were more involved with the game than just my eye test led me to believe. Because it definitely seemed like the Pies were winning the ball possessions, but I think they were just moving faster and it just made it look more. But Essendon, I mean, they had enough control to fight from under the siege and still, counterattack and be on top.
Yeah, I think they were. That's exactly. They were competitive in the clearances, and that's when I think they did the most damage. I think just in general play, I think Essendon didn't have as much impact per disposal. Collingwood, it just seems like they were just getting the ball forward and able to just make something happen. It just seems like that's how Collingwood was doing. And Collingwood, and just to reiterate the pressure that they were having, they had just a bunch of tackles inside 50. They were catching Essendon off guard with the tackles and just the pressure. It seems like they forced a lot of turnovers in the forward half. Now, we're used to seeing them come from the back, and that's how they started, I think, the comeback, just the transition from the backhand to the front.
Yeah.
But they just locked the Essendon down in their own defensive half and just kept that there and forced some turnovers. So they did a good job there. And Collingwood started to make me believe a little bit. After the first initial gap that Essendon put most of the game, even though if it just felt like, and for me, I felt like it was more on Collingwood's terms rather than Essendon's terms. But the game was, after that initial gap, it was just tight the whole way. It was a real good game. It's not like there was no pressure either. Both teams, I think, did have decent pressure, but I think more so on Collingwood's terms. And I think goal scoring actually, really at the end of the day, was kind of both teams' vice. They both had opportunities at the end, and neither were able to really take the game by storm.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really just what it was. Second half was definitely a great ding-dong affair all the way to the final minute. Both teams, according to the scoreboard, evenly matched. So I definitely can't complain with this game. It was definitely a good watch, an exciting game. Two possible final teams, I'll say. If Essendon can play like this against everybody, I know this is a special game. I know this is a special day, so teams usually, put that little extra effort into it. But if Essendon can play like this against anybody, I definitely could see them making finals.
Yeah, and possible mark of the year. Jamie Elliott taking a specky on Ben Mackay's head too.
Yeah, he definitely. That was textbook specky. That's one of them shits you definitely put in a video and try to put somebody on this sport.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of the legendary ones.
Yeah, that's all I got for this.
And me as well.
All right, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube shit. We do be live. Not live right now when you see this. Maybe we will be. Depending on when you watch it, but we be here. So tune in. All that shit. Hell yeah. Catch y'all. Yep. Yep. You just gotta do that.